Helldivers is once again dealing with a small developer statement being turned into a full-blown speculation wildfire, which we'll get into, along with the game's recent performance, which somehow seems to be improving. By the way, I wanted to say thank you to each and every one of you, as over the past few days of me being away, the channel has now passed 353,000 subscribers, to which I am extremely thankful for your support. In case you haven't done so already, you know what to do by hitting subscribe and ringing the notifications bell. And now, let's get into the latest with Helldivers. Okay, Helldivers, a lot of speculation has started to swirl around within the community about Arrowhead completely overhauling the Autodesk Stingray game engine, which is the engine that Helldivers 1 used, as well as the game we know and now play, Helldivers 2. Now, originally, this engine was called 𝗏𝗏𝗏, and it was eventually sold to Autodesk, who then upgraded it and retooled it into Stingray. But in early 2018, so that's 7 years ago, it was over for this engine due to its inability to compete with rivals like Unreal, Unity, and so on. Now, Arrowhead, which had used this engine for their previous titles of Magicka and of course Helldivers 1, continued on with it into Helldivers 2 because production for that title had already begun prior to Autodesk essentially closing up shop on Stingray. So yeah, at this point, Stingray has been heavily modified, that much we know, but clearly its age and limitations have been exposed, as each time the game is updated, a shopping list of items is broken. With that bit of context now out of the way, and with bits and pieces of post from Arrowhead themselves, things are starting to get out of hand when it comes to talks about the game engine, which is why we're dropping in today with this post from FandomWire. It says, "Fact check. Is Arrowhead updating Helldivers 2's game engine? Rumors about Helldivers 2's engine are circulating. Let's separate the fact from fiction in this latest speculation about Arrowhead's technical plans." No, Helldivers 2 isn't getting an engine update. Not that we know of, at least. The rumor currently making rounds through Reddit posts and YouTube clickbait, wow, they just came out and said it there, has zero official confirmation from Arrowhead, neither through their communication channels nor their frequent Discord chats with the community. More importantly, no credible data miners or known insiders have corroborated this claim. The source? Pure speculation dressed up as insider knowledge. That said, the confusion likely stems from Arrowhead's recent tech blog #1, where they promise performance improvements and file size optimization. Somewhere between we're improving engine performance and community wishful thinking, the message mutated into complete engine overhaul incoming. And that's quite the leap, especially considering the current Stingray engine situation. Performance optimization doesn't equal engine replacement, yet here we are. Arrowhead's latest developer blog specifically addressed the PC file size bloat problem, not engine overhauls. They discussed short-term crash fixes and long-term storage solutions. Nowhere did they mention rebuilding their engine foundation. And just to add this in for more context, the recent official tech blog #1 said this when it came to engine updates. And by the way, I'll include a link to this full blog, just check the pinned comments and video description. But if you look in the section under long-term solutions, it says, quote, "Looking further into the future, we plan to make improvements to the engine, which will ensure we never waste RAM loading common data that isn't needed, eliminating one of the drawbacks of the above technique." And by the way, that small portion of that tech blog has now led to speculation like this over on Reddit, talking about new mission types with 50 divers all in one mission based on those rumors of a new engine update. Anyways, continuing on, the article says, the original post perfectly captures how these rumors snowball. Someone mentions engine improvements, and suddenly players imagine 50-person hold-the-line missions with sea troopers. Creative? Absolutely. Based on anything Arrowhead said, not remotely. But that would be effing cool to try out. They go on to say, nailed it. This pattern happens constantly. CEO Shams Jorjani says, quote, fixes and performance improvements, and somehow that becomes, quote, complete engine rebuild with unlimited possibilities. Certain YouTube channels thrive on this cycle too. Oh, we're circling back, churning out AI-generated thumbnails with all caps titles about massive engine updates based on absolutely nothing. It's manufactured hype for algorithm engagement, plain and simple. And full stop here, by the way, I did check YouTube with that exact title description, which shows up here with the following results. Interesting. Anyways, moving on. Remember the DSS speculation? The community convinced itself it would be everything from social hubs to clan-specific deployable space stations. Anyone suggesting otherwise got downvoted into oblivion. When reality inevitably disappointed those inflated expectations, frustration erupted, not because Arrowhead failed, but because players gaslit themselves into believing fan fiction. I do want to community note this article's statement here and now, though. It's true that the community's imagination ran wild about the DSS, but this also got blown out of proportion because Arrowhead themselves never came out and specifically said that those DSS rumors were false. Continuing on, we just got a little bit more to go. They say that's exactly what happened. The DSS discourse became so detached from reality that grounded expectations were treated as negativity. Now we're watching the same movie with engine rumors, wildly imagining features Arrowhead never mentioned, setting up disappointment when they deliver exactly what they promised. Here's the truth, and that's the article stating that, not me personally. They go on to say, Arrowhead's inaugural tech blog initiative signals positive changes. They're acknowledging the technical debt crisis and promising more transparency moving forward. That deserves cautious optimism, not runaway speculation about engine replacements that were never on the table to begin with. Patience and realistic expectations will serve Super Earth's finest far better than manufactured hype cycles. Let Arrowhead do their job, judge results when they arrive, and maybe stop trusting random Reddit posts as gospel. Revolutionary concept, right? Okay, I haven't really been paying attention to the conversations or speculations out there surrounding an engine overhaul, so maybe you, my viewers, can drop a comment about what some of these are, but it feels like this is something that is or has gotten a bit out of control. Now, I was around and fully watching those past DSS speculations. Players were hoping for a social hub, possibly clans, where we would use resources like samples to upgrade our specific dojos, complete with upgrades and everything. Basically, it was Warframe's system, but it was coming into Helldivers. And what we got was the complete opposite of that, with the DSS serving as a passive stat stick that can travel around the galaxy based on player votes. However, I do see how this gets out of control. Shams over in the Discord says it's a known audio bug and that they're being worked on, and all of a sudden we've got rumors that Arrowhead is completely dumping WWise, the audio system, and that they are replacing it with something else. Again, like the engine overhaul or replacement talks, it's not going to happen. Could we use an engine upgrade and sound overhaul so it works properly? Absolutely, but with a game that's quickly approaching 2 years on the open market, that's just not a reality. But on the flip side of that argument of never happening is the game's current performance levels, and maybe it's just me, but the game has been holding up pretty well on all three fronts, and knock on wood, it continues that way. It's not perfect. There's still some stuttering and frame dips, but I haven't seen the crazy freezes or crashes like we had once Into the Untested went live. Let me know how the game has been holding up for you recently by dropping a comment, and I'm also aware that the Illuminate tend to be the easiest on the game's performance, netting us the least amount of issues, but I also love taking on both the bots and bugs, and even on both of those sides of the map, it felt like Arrowhead had done some sort of work, some sort of tweaking. Now, SteamDB shows that they have been making a slew of changes, but we can't see what was exactly done. But if they were making all those changes and the net results were better game performance, I mean, that's good news. You'd think they would have made some sort of announcement, even, hey, everybody, we're trying and testing some stuff to see if any of it works. We'll let you know, but again, we've seen nothing. I've thrown quite a lot at you today, the engine upgrade rumors, and even the game's current performance levels, and I once again encourage you to drop a comment, as I'm genuinely interested in your thoughts and feedback. Remember to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to receive my future upload alerts. My Discord links are always available in both the video description and pinned comments in case you're looking for a seasoned team of divers to link up with. Thank you to all of our channel members and your support. And until the next one, this is Lieutenant 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 signing off.